All right, welcome back to Freedom Algo, everybody. How are you doing on this day? All right, let me just see here. We got this wild uptrend working right now, so I got to zoom out. I just caught back. I'm trying to figure out what is going on here with this move. So I haven't mapped out any of this yet to see if there's any good setups in there. So just bear with me as I get things going. But let me know how you're doing today. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Making sure that everything is working on my side. Good morning, Project Panic. Good to have you here. All right, let's see. Oh, wait, I got to change one quick thing. Bear with me one moment. Okay, cool. Ultimate Shinobi, good to see you. Good to have you here. All right, let me get some, I'll get some music going and stuff too. Jacoby, good to have you. Oh, nice. Nice, Project Panic. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, so you probably got in. So, we had one of those strong trends here. And if you noticed it, sometimes in strong trends, you can take good signal bars. They're a little challenging because you don't always, like, you're longing, you're kind of longing into a high if you do it a lot of the time. So I don't really see very many good opportunities in this one. Maybe, depends on what your chart looked like. Good to see you, Jackie, Matt. It depends on what your chart looked like, if you had a good setup. Unfortunately on mine, I don't really get very many of them. It looks like maybe you can maybe argue for these two here. Could maybe argue for this one as a good signal bar. But again, you are longing into the high there if you do that. Can maybe argue for this one. Same thing, like you are longing into a high. They're not even really like, I mean, it's kind of a first entry long, but it makes a new high all at once. So you could write it as a first entry long, but really it's just a good signal bar. It's kind of the same thing here. It makes a first entry long, but makes a new high all at once. So if you took either one of those, like, they're risky, but the strong trend was in play. You could argue for this one as sort of a visual two-legged correction. So this one isn't really a second entry long, but it's sort of a visual second entry long. So you could argue for that one. Basically, pullback, first entry, all the way to a new high, and then it makes another leg. It almost looks like a two-legged correction back to this original wider trend line. Now it does look like we're coming down. We have a pullback. We have a first entry here. You do have to consider that this was a break and two legs to a new high. But there was a possible wider trend line that was in play here with the midline. So we might continue higher here. All right, let me see. Yeah, Chris, this is a pretty wild one with the with this trend. So there's the closeout side new high. So we are going higher now. Could we form a flatter channel? We might. Could we form something like this? Maybe. We might. But we just got it. Now we just made a closeout side new high. So we got to be patient here because all these uptrends have played out. We'll zoom out real quick. So let's go look at the price action. It's kind of a weird day. Basically, we had this little range this morning, broke out the bottom and turned into a big downtrend. Got a correction, another little mini downtrend, and then it just reversed on us all the way back up. And we're coming almost all the way back up to the original range. So we'll see. Originally we had a measured move, but it went way further. So now we just got to be patient and see if it continues up higher. So let's take a look at the actual trade setups here. And if you're here, please give the stream a like. We got 7 likes right now. See if we can get up to 40 today. Subscriber goal is to get to 5490. So we'll see. No, Christopher, I have no idea what strategy you're talking about. But I just trade price action. So this is the ES 2000 tick chart. And I'm a price action scalper. So I don't look at any of that. I do look at tick chart candles, though, which kind of has orders and order flow built into it. Okay, anyway, we came down here, get a close outside new low. Then we had this wider channel. This morning pre-market was kind of sideways right here. There is a second entry long here, but not a good signal bar. And then it comes down. This was a nice trade right here. So basically we had this downtrend. You get a first entry long, pullback, second entry long that fails. So it's a failed second entry long right here. But then the shorts are trapped too, because they all tried to short the breakout of the of this little area, and then it reverses on them. So basically the longs get trapped, then the shorts get trapped. You get a triple test off of this low level right here. It's a failed breakout of this blue line right here. And so that's a nice one. Then after that, it just goes sideways and it forms this downtrend. Now, there is a one here where you get a downtrend, close outside. It hasn't made a new low yet, and you get this breakout pullback. It's just a first entry short, but it is a breakout pullback of the level, and there is a possible downtrend there. So if you took that, it makes sense. I know that somebody in the paid community was able to get a nice runner on that one. How many ticks do I use? 2,000. On the ES. Then it comes down, keeps going further, and there's just not really any good setups in this trend because it kind of goes down, gets sideways, and then goes down again. And it did form a second entry short here, but I don't think you want to short this. You are shorting the low if you take that, and I just think it's kind of risky. So I didn't mark it. Goes down. You break out of here. You do get a second entry short, but there's just not a good signal bar. It makes a new low. Now, this is a more advanced trade, which I did take this one because it hit the measured move perfectly, and it's just a new low. It's a close outside new low, so you expect a pullback here to some extent. It's risky. It's picking a bottom, so it is risky, but for me, like, that looked like it was probably going to come back towards the EMA, which is exactly what it does. And so I liked that one. It's a really nice signal bar. It's right off the key level that we were targeting. Comes up, then you get this close outside, and then it runs higher. This turns into a trend of its own here, and you get a close outside, and so you have this is basically like a new low. So you have a first entry, second entry short off of the big downtrend, but the signal bar was too bullish, and then you don't get a lower high, and then it just runs down again. Runs all the way down. There's not really any trades in here. There was almost a setup here, but the signal bar wasn't good again. Comes down, and then you get this little move up. Now, it does give a first entry, second entry short failure here, a little trap. But I don't think you want to go long there yet, because even though it forms above the EMA, and there is an uptrend in play, you're longing right here at the top of this move if you try to long. You don't know how far it's going to actually go. And this is a close outside of the channel, so it could reverse on you and make the new low. You just don't have enough room to really take a reliable setup there. So I don't think that you want to take this. And then it just keeps going higher. You get the close outside new high right here. Forms a lower high, but it just doesn't give you a good signal bar because this thing pushes all the way up and closes right here. So unfortunately, lower high doesn't really work. You just have to watch it go. But there is a nice trap right here. So you get this move coming down. And it's basically... this is a tough one. It's not for everyone, but if you entered this on the engulfing bar, expecting a new low to be made, that's exactly what it does, and it makes the new low. So you would have had a nice little scalp there. That's all you'd be looking for there. It's just a scalp to the low, and you have room to do it. So that's a decent one. Then you get the close outside, And then this is just like a, forms like a little micro range here. And this is kind of like a failed breakout. So you could take that short. And then there is a failure here. So first entry long, second entry long failure. It's also a first entry, second entry short. So pretty decent one. Pretty decent one. And then you come up here, you get a first entry short. This kind of forms a second entry short, but you can't really take anything here because you get an inside bar. And then this bar is another inside bar. So you can't take the short there, even though it was looking appealing. Comes down to here, and then you finally do go outside of here, and then it just reverses. And this down channel could have just been two big legs to a new low. I mean, if you look at this and you measure it, it's probably what it is. I didn't really do it. It's pretty much like two giant legs to a new low from the original downtrend. So you might not get a new low on this little micro one that we drew, and then it goes higher. So now when it goes higher, we already talked about these signal bars. They're not the best. This one, like I think these are risky, but they're there. This one's like that, like I said, a visual. And now we might be getting some sort of a, we might form some support at this low. We'll see. We did make a new high already. Get a pullback, first entry. We might get a second entry long here. That's also a triple test of the level. So that's a possibility. But you do have to be aware of some of this. Yeah, I don't want to take that. Not a good signal bar. You have to be aware that we did make a new high already. And this is like a lower high after making the new high. So this thing could reverse back down on us. And we just need to be patient here. Kind of some mixed signals right now because of that. So you just got to let it roll. All right. So that's all the price action so far. All right, let's see. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Today, to anyone who wants to know, we have in our paid community and group mentorship, we have our call. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so in about an hour and 15 minutes. And there's already some questions in here that I'll be answering on the call. And then, those all get recorded, put in here, so everyone can check those out. The full course is in here. Everything that you need to know about what we do is in there, so you can check that all out. I did want to call out that there was a video that released this morning on the YouTube channel from just like a stream clip that was really good. So that one was here. But for anybody that wants to know, there is a course, 4 hours long, right here on YouTube that you can check out. And that is actual sections from the paid course. It's obviously not the whole paid course. It's not even close to the whole thing. But that is a free course for you to check out, see if you like my style. And then, of course, there's a Ninja Trader setup guide. And it's all free. How to set up the free version, everything like that. So that's all in there for everybody to check out. All right, let's see what we got here. So, well, the triple test there pretty much failed. And you can see the second entry long there failed. It's not a good signal bar anyway. You are getting a nice little triple test now. Still. But it's just a little dicey because that one pretty much just failed too, like a tick down. But there is a triple test here. This might actually turn into a nice little setup. But again, you got to be careful here because we already made a new high. We could form something like this. We could easily form something like this. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to get to everyone's questions. Just give me 1 second here. Dr. Footballhead, haven't seen you in the chat in a while, man. How you doing? How you doing? It was funny because the other day I saw something on I saw something. Well, actually, first I'll wait to see how you doing, and then I'll respond. 7:19. 7:19 Pacific. You still in there, Dr. Footballhead? Matt. Matt, I got no idea. I got no idea. Ting, you got trapped on the second entry short at 8:20 mark my time. Okay, why was that a bad trade? All right, I'll get to those too. Dr. Footballhead, man, I went to it was funny because the other day I was like, man, I haven't seen that guy in a while, and I went to go send a message in but you weren't in my you weren't in the Discord, so I couldn't send you a message because you know how Discord is. If you're not in the same Discord, you can't send a message. So I couldn't send you a quick note. I was gonna let you know that I saw some setup, and I was like, oh man, I'm curious like how it's been going for you, what you saw, something like that. I forget what it was, but it's just funny. It's funny that I like thought about sending you that message, and then I didn't see you in Discord, and then all of a sudden you're right here. All right, so 7:19 Pacific. I don't even know, like, how do you 7:19? Oh, I already talked about this. I already talked about this earlier. It's not a it's because, all right, so there's a couple of things happening here. So the first thing is you have a big downtrend here, right? You have this downtrend. And so when this happened right here, this big bullish candle closed outside of the downtrend. And so it's not a close back inside. It's a strong push above the EMA here. And so the problem is if you draw a short-term channel like this, if you draw your short-term channel, it looks like a close outside new high. The problem is with how aggressive this move up is, you have to consider that there might be a little wider channel here. So when you draw your wider channel, you wouldn't short this because it's within a wider channel. So what you'd really want to do here is wait to see if there's a lower high that forms, especially because it closed outside of the channel. The move might not be over yet before it goes to the new low. And so that's exactly what happened. It was a little wider channel, and you can see that here because it tried to go lower here and failed, and then here it kind of failed, and then finally here it reverses. So you just have to be aware of that. Sometimes there is a slightly wider channel in play, and that's what happened there. That's a tough one, though. That's a tough one. I could see why you want to short that. It's a nice looking signal bar, so I get it. Okay, someone said 820. 820. Is that 820? Second entry short. I don't see a second entry short up here. At 820. This is 820. 820 and 50 seconds. So unless you mean like right here, but I don't really see a second entry short. I mean, because your new low is here. This is a higher low, 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 higher low. These are all higher lows. There's no new low in the swing here to count from. So I don't actually see any way that you could have a second entry short. Technically, this is your low. You get a first entry, second entry, third entry, fourth entry. It keeps going. Like there's no new low in the swing here. There's not even a double bottom anywhere to restart your count. So there's no second entries in there until even this one is not really a new low because this is your swing low and then this is still a higher low. So I don't really think that there's any way to restart your count anywhere in here to count off the lows till finally right here. In which case you have a first entry, second entry short right there, but that's not really a spot that you want to short with the support here. So yeah, anyway, hopefully that. Oh, 920 Central. Yeah, so 920. That is 920 Central. I don't see. Oh wait, 920 Central. Oh, my bad. 920 Central would be 7. Oh, that's the same one we just talked about, right? That's this one. Yeah, so I talked about that. That's the same one that Dr. Footballhead took, I think. So there you go. Okay. Das, good to see you. Good morning. The only way I think you could take this one is right here. And it's a little risky. It would definitely be a green arrow. And I'll explain. So this is a lower high, right? This is a lower high. And all that it is we have a close outside and a new high and then a lower high. The problem is the new high is here and it moved all the way down and then you do get a lower high. So it's really just like a first entry short. It's not really something that you definitely like. It's not a sure thing because it's moved so far. Usually you want a lower high to form like right here. Like you'd want a new high and then like a lower high right here. So it's all part of the same move. I don't think you really want to take that. This is a failed second entry long and it's a second entry short, but it's so sideways right there and you were bouncing off this area. So I just think it's risky to take this even though the signal bar is pretty small. That's the way I see it, at least. Okay, so this looks like a little bit of a wider move. The other thing is it might be that the trend actually starts from the lower high. So we can draw the tighter one on here just in case. Because it kind of generally looks like a tight move. So we have to consider both options, the wider channel here and this one. The nice thing with this is that now we get to close outside. So we're probably looking for a new low to be made here on this down channel because the up channels have all played out. We're back to that original measured move from earlier where we bounced the first time. So we'll see what happens. So there's a first entry short right here forming, but it might just make a new low on us. We don't, yeah, it looks like it did. So it made an equal low. You could treat that like a new low. So kind of reset the count. But that's a new low made. Yep, that's a new low. So that's played out. No real way to take that. We got to wait and see if this wider channel is in play or not. We don't know yet now. If you're here, please give the stream a like. Give the stream a like. We're at 15. See if we can get to 40 today. Subscribers, we're at 5483. We're trying to get to 5490. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely do it. Oh, I forgot. I need to move my phone out of the way. Hopefully it didn't mess with the speaker. Apologize if it did. It was sometimes when it's near the... Okay, I think it's good. Sometimes when it's near the microphone settings, it can cause problems. All right, so anybody that wants to join the call later today, remember it's at it's in about an hour at 10 Pacific. Zoom call for the paid community. We're going to go over a bunch of different stuff in there. We already got a bunch of questions that I'm going to answer. A couple of other things planned out. Hey, Project Panic, nice move, man. Nice move. Nice move. Congrats on that runner, though. All right, so right now we have the close outside new low. We don't know for sure if this wider channel is going to be in play. We got to wait and see here because we do have a touch here and kind of here. But we got to wait and see how this reacts. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, Molly. So, yeah, the way that we do it is a Zoom call. So, it's a Zoom call, and the way it works is it's every week, with the exception of September. The first week of September, I'm taking a vacation, so we won't have a call that week. But we have a call once a week, and what I do is we do a Zoom call. You can have your camera on if you want. Most people don't have theirs on. I always have mine on, and you can. Everyone who joins will be muted at first, but you can unmute yourself and ask me questions. And then also you can just type questions in the chat and we go over things. So like here's just an example. So like today, let's see what questions we got so far. So like we already have a few questions in here. So looking at previous days highs and lows, session highs and lows on our chart, is that, you know, based on the current price action. So I'll cover that one. Biggest mistakes I see traders making on price action trading. And then we're going to look at this question, which is when you're looking for shorts, if a second entry long appears and you're taking a failure, stuff like that. Like what kind of signal bar is the best on failures? So I'm going to go over those questions. And then people will also just join and ask questions. And then what we do sometimes with those calls is sometimes they become a masterclass. So last week we did a masterclass on trend lines, and it was longer than an hour. Usually the call is about an hour, but last week it was, I think, a little longer. We did a class on we did a masterclass on trend lines that I actually became part of the course. We did one on second entries a while ago. What was the other one we did recently? I don't know, we did like a price action overview masterclass on a bunch of topics. So we do masterclasses on these. And yeah, and Project Panic is right. So Devon, you asked about like drawing the trend lines. Literally last week we did a masterclass. So if you do join the paid community, that masterclass is part of the actual course. It's also in the recorded Zoom calls area. So every Zoom call that we do goes in here in this weekly Zoom calls and Q&A recording. In the course itself, if I open up the course, I add these, like, so the trend line one is right here, trend line and channels masterclass. It's now section 7.5, and it's all in here. Cool thing also is that there's a transcript of every video. So sometimes the transcript has some weird typos because it's just automated. But the cool thing is when you use the search function, it'll give you links to anything about any topic in that gets picked up by any video I've covered in there, which is cool. So it's all in there.
Connection lost.
Haha. That's okay, Devon, because you can still check that out. All right, I just got a connection lost message. So that means that I have to refresh all my data. So give me 1 second to reload all my historical data because it always messes up the tick counter when that happens. So yeah, so Devon, you can still access that stuff if you join. So don't worry, even though you missed it, you wouldn't be able to, you can't join it live, obviously, the call, because the call already happened. You can still get access to it and see everything. All right. So this trend line did end up not coming into effect, it looks like, unless it's wider, something like that. But right now we're just going to remove it. All right. Someone else asked a question and I feel like I missed it. So let me go and look. Tony. Around the open, no, I don't wait 5 to 10 minutes. I just trade what I see and I don't worry too much about it. But you do have to be aware that like there is a volatility spike sometimes. So you do have to be careful. All right. Yeah, the cool thing about the way that we do it in the school community is that like all the master classes are recorded and all the calls are recorded. So like if you join later, you can still go back after you've gone through the whole course. You can go back and check them all out. So that's a cool thing about it. All right, so let me see here. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to keep track of this in case it starts to reverse somewhere over here and give us a possible trend line. Now, I don't know if it's going to. It's just a possibility. So I don't know. I'm just going to kind of have it on my cursor ready to go. If you got any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. If you're here, please give the stream a like. See if we can get some more likes going. We're only at 19 right now. So to Ting and Dr. Footballhead, if you're still here, did what I say make sense to you? I didn't hear from either of you after. I think it was Ting who took that trade. I think that's who it was, right? Go back and look. Yeah, it was. Okay. We'll see here. Okay, cool. Cool. So we might form a down channel, maybe. Not the best looking down channel here, but I'm going to draw it just in case. This is a move up, and this might give us a close outside of the channel, maybe. We'll see. Not looking very convincing. Sort of. It's tough when it's like that, because you could really just barely move this channel over like this. And to me, that's not really a close outside of the channel. You can kind of see that's still looking like pretty strong right there. So I think we need something a little bit more definitive. Yes, it's possible that this was tighter like that and that is a close outside, but it's really not convincing for me. So I need to wait and see how this plays out. This is where I had it drawn originally, like this. Because to me, the price action actually fits pretty decent like that. But it is a new low. It is a first entry short. So we just got to be patient here and see if we get one. Oh, I gotta check something real fast. Bear with me a moment. Okay. There we go. Alright, so we do have just a first entry short here. It is a close outside of the channel. That's a more obvious close outside. The thing is, like I said, is the channel tighter like that and this is the close outside? Maybe, but it's not super convincing to me. So I would look at this as not a, now we have a close outside. So we haven't really made a new high here, but we might not with the bearish momentum we've seen. Yeah, the uptrend was in play, but it closed outside Shinobi. Let me do something here. We just got to be patient. Don't forget that today there's a FOMC minutes meeting, so you won't want to be trading later on because that gets a little chaotic. So we might get a lower high here. The only risk here is that we didn't really make a new high on this up channel, but sometimes that can still happen. So we have to see how this forms here. And we'll see if we can get a short setup.
Order submitted.
We'll have one ready just in case we get a short setup. Now again, I don't know for sure that this trend is going to hold. So I got to be patient here and make sure that I have some sort of really strong signal bar. Because if the uptrend that I drew originally, which was, here, I'll draw a blue line so you can see. If it was like this, the way I had it originally drawn, like that, then we do have a closeout side. But, again, not convincing the way that that looked. So we got to be patient here. Trend line has to hold for me to really want this. It looks like it's going to try to make a new high, so we're probably just going to have to cancel this.
Order canceled.
Yep. So we're not getting anything there. So it looks like this trend line was correct. Close outside, new high made now. But there's no trade setup there. This downtrend is not very convincing, obviously, because we got these touches here, but then we just went straight through. So, you know, you might not even get a new low on that now. This was that level right here where we were bouncing for a second. So we might reject there. We'll see. We could still wait and see if we can get a short setup possible. It becomes riskier up here. Becomes a little riskier. I don't like the signal bar. Nine ticks. So it's one of those ones that's closing on the lower 1/3, but I don't like the signal bar. Just be patient. We're testing the level again, so we'll see. Nope. Too bullish. Too bullish. So now there's going to be a second entry short that forms. Bar is too bullish. So what we're going to look for here is first entry, second entry. Right there's now's the second entry. So what we would need now is for it to not move very far and give us a lower high, for it to be a decent looking setup. Because we got the close outside and a one leg up to a new high. So this will be the attempt at the second leg here to a new high. So let's see if we get a lower high. Rejection of maybe this level again, where we were support before, might become a rejection level. And then we need to have some room to the EMA, which we do. We don't know if we're going to form some sort of a channel. Now, I don't see any sort of, like something like this. It could form, but it doesn't look very likely at the moment. So we got to be aware still, though, that it could happen. Could form some sort of wider up move. Because this was not the most convincing down channel, as you can see. So let's see what we get here. That was the first entry, second entry. Here comes the second leg attempt to a new high. So let's see what it does. It might, yeah, if it makes a new high, I'm not going to take anything here. Yep, I'm not going to
Order canceled.
cancel the order. And the reason is, even though it's a close outside new high and now it's going to make one more leg to a new high, it's now looking too bullish. I wanted it to be a failure there, like a lower high that basically failed to make another second leg up for me to want to take that, but it didn't happen. So now I will draw a possible wider channel. I will draw this. And again, this isn't confirmed yet, but I will draw it just in case that's in play. We don't know if it is, but just in case. Okay. So we're just going to sit patient. If you're here, please give the stream a like. We're trying to get to 40 likes today. We're at 24. So definitely hit that like button on the stream. We're still trying to get to 5490 subscribers. We're getting close. We're getting real close to 5,500. So definitely hit that like. So what we have here, second entry short failure. And then it's now made a new high. So now we got to see how this does right here. Because it's now made a close outside, 2 legs to a new high. So now it's when we see if we're going to get some continuation, if we're going to get a reversal, sideways action back into this level. We can draw a few levels here, just possibility above us. This is where we've projected before. So that would be like one of our targets to the upside. The original range still way up here. Not seeing much else here. Not seeing much else. It's slow going, so we just got to see. If you got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I probably will wrap up the stream a little earlier today just because we got the Zoom call coming up soon. So I'm going to wait and see if there's some questions. If not, I'll wrap up and then we'll just do the Zoom call in a little bit. Triple test, I mean, sort of, like 1, 2. You could get a triple test here, but I don't think you want to take a short right now because the problem is, like, now it does look like this is in play, this up channel. It's just too bullish to really try to take a short here. So I don't think that you want to really consider that. Even though we don't have a third test of this trend line, it's just too bullish to just pick a top and take a short there. There's not really a setup for that. All right, let's see. Anybody have any other questions? All right, I think that we will probably wrap up here then. And I'll take a break for a little bit, and then I'll be back in about 40 minutes for the Zoom call. So everybody, looking forward to the Zoom call today in the school community. If anybody wants to learn more about all that, it's in the link tree pinned in the chat. It's also in the description. You can see it all here. The Become a Price Action Trader section is here. You can join the community right through this page. And then once you join, in the calendar, you'll see this call. And this is the details are in there when you click on this to join the Zoom call. And that's all in here, and everything else will be in there. So anyway, I think we'll wrap up a little early today. But I appreciate everyone for being here, and I will see you all tomorrow.